put everything from that call that I had just seen to the side and literally watching a patient die in front of me, and I can only do so much. And I'm like trying to hold this life in my hands, like help her. Thankfully, I had an amazing EMT in the back with me who was in the military before, and he was just talking with her, and my brain was just like going, trying to figure out what to do because I didn't have fire in the back. We were, I think, third on scene, and we transported her, and it was like moving from the call to now my FI, now back to the call, and standing on scene, looking at this such destruction, and like how to, sorry.
It's okay.
Just breathe. Like, looking at this and being like, how can someone cause so much destruction in like so little time? I mean, like, my patient told me she was like 10 feet from him. He opened the door and she was right there. And like hearing that and seeing, just even from a distance, everything that was going on, I was like, I don't even think there's another police officer anywhere in the city but here right now.
Yeah.
To be perfectly honest, I was like, there's that much PD, and like, I mean, it's in the middle of the night, it's dark. And there was like, it was almost like daylight because of how many lights were there.
Yeah.
And all the lights, and standing there with my supervisor and just looking at this, and him and I had like a lengthy discussion on scene because we were both like in shock of it. And I remember standing there being like, how can God be in an event like this? Because I don't understand it.
It's free will.
Yeah. And I like, actually this week, like I've struggled with it for so long, and I'm rewatching one of my favorite shows called The Midwife. I don't know if you've watched it. It's like such a sweet show. And in one of the episodes, one of the people is struggling, and one of the ladies turns to her and she's like, God's not in the event. He's in the reaction and the processing and the healing in the event.
Yeah.
And I was just like, for me, that was just like so like touching, because I was like, it just clicked in my head for that, for the Club Q shooting. I was like, oh my gosh, like, yes, that was so true.
Yeah.
But like the processing afterwards was, I got back to base. There was no one there support system wise. Everyone went home. I'm there scrubbing my rig down, still covered in blood.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, what'd you have? And I'm like, I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about it. And coming in days after, like, I just felt like I had to just compartmentalize it every single time I went into work, because it seemed like no one gave a shit.
Everything you hear today from myself and my guests is opinion only and doesn't represent any organizations or companies that any of us are affiliated with. The stories you hear have been modified to protect patient privacy, and any resemblance to real individuals is coincidental. This is for educational and entertainment purposes only and should not be taken as medical advice nor used to diagnose any medical or healthcare conditions.
That's something that super frustrates me about your guys' experience. First off, you were all, except for you, underpaid. No, I mean, seriously.
I'm not.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. But for the most part, you know, our EMS partners, like you guys, it's almost like they look at it like, oh, well, you can get this qualification in, you know, this short time period. So we're going to pay you in accordance to the time period it takes you to be qualified to do the job, not based off of the proficiency required, the skill level required. And I like to educate hospital staff, you know, to be really kind to you guys, even when we're frustrated, because it's like, no, I'm serious, because, you know, yes, in the hospital side, we do have a hard job, but it's still in so many ways so much easier than your guys' experience, because you guys see the ones who don't make it to us. You guys see the traumatic experiences and home lives that so many of these patients come from. And, you know, you guys don't have the support, and hearing that even after such a significant incident like Club Q, well, first off, we had huge teams. You guys are 2-3 people on an incredible day, you know, in this tiny rig. And a lot of times when you guys are, you know, showing up to a scene, it's not secure, it's not safe, maybe it's a handoff situation. So not only are you concerned about the patient that you've got to care for, but you're also concerned about your own safety. Mm-hmm. And like what you had said about the Club Q experience, where you were worried about other members that you work with because either A, they could have been patrons there, or B.
And when we had people there.
Yeah.
There were people there.